assured her. The woman had obviously picked up on the concern. "She's in playgroup right now." "Good," Everly muttered, and she repeated it while she tried to steady herself. "This could turn out to be nothing, but someone might have left me." She trailed off again. "A possible threat or something. It's probably nothing," she emphasized. "Oh." There was concern in Sarah's voice now, too. "Should I do a lockdown of the building?" Everly hated to overreact, but she didn't want to regret underreacting either. After all, she'd been a defense attorney for 6 years now. She was certain that she'd managed to rile certain people who'd been involved in some of her cases. People who might want to scare her. Or worse. The handful of threats she'd gotten over the years had never extended to her child or to anyone except her, but Everly didn't want to take the risk that it was different this time. "Yes, please," Everly told the woman. "Do the lockdown, and as soon as I've talked to the sheriff, I'll let you know what's going on," she added right before she ended the call. It was only a couple of minutes later when Everly saw the Silver Creek cruiser turn into her driveway. Still clutching her phone, she got out of her SUV just as Grayson exited the cruiser. He was tall and lanky, and even though he was in his late 50s now, he still managed to look in charge merely by stepping onto the scene. He also wasn't alone. Everly required a deep breath of a different sort when Detective Noah Ryland got out from the passenger's side. Since Grayson was Noah's uncle and they both lived in Silver Creek, it wasn't unusual to see them together. But because Noah was a homicide detective in nearby San Antonio, she doubted it was customary for Grayson to bring his nephew to respond to a 911 call. Especially this 911. After all, Noah and she had spent more than a decade just avoiding each other. Wide berths were their norm. Him showing up at her house wasn't something he'd ever done before. Like his uncle, Noah was a Ryland through and through. Black hair, sizzling gray eyes, and the handsome face that always sent a jolt of alarm and heat through her. She figured no man could actually be too good-looking, but Noah always seemed to put that theory to the test. Thankfully, today, it was easy for her to push aside his looks and the inevitable attraction he stirred inside her. A pull that she figured would always be there since he'd been her first lover, way back when they'd been 16. A lifetime ago. And he hadn't been her lover since. Not after what had happened that night. Nothing to do with the actual sex, no. It was the aftermath that had led to a horrible nightmare that still haunted her. Always would. And she doubted Noah had been able to put it to rest either. Since Noah had on well-worn jeans, a gray shirt, and Stetson, she guessed that he wasn't on his way to or from work. She'd caught glimpses of him in the homicide detective mode, and when he was on the job, he wore what would be called business casual. But even when he was in a suit jacket, Noah had always somehow managed to look just as much cowboy as cop. Clearing her throat and attempting to do the same with her head, Everly motioned toward the porch. "That wasn't there when I left to take Ainsley to daycare about 30 minutes ago. I dropped her off, stopped at the cafe to get a to-go cup of coffee, and then drove back here to pick up something I'd forgotten. That's when I saw it on the porch. I didn't touch it," she added, well aware it'd be something they'd want to know. Both Noah and Grayson looked at the white cardboard, blood-stained box that was the size of a container usually meant to store files. But neither man seemed surprised it was there. However, there was deep concern in both sets of those cowboy cops' eyes. "I got a box, too," Noah said, his gaze connecting with hers again. "It was delivered to the ranch this morning. That's why I was at the sheriff's office when Grayson got your 911 call." The ranch, as in the Rylands' sprawling Silver Creek Ranch, where Noah, Grayson, and many other members of their family lived. Now her own concern went up another significant notch. Not because it had been delivered to the ranch, but because it had been delivered at all. Who left it, and what was in it?